Motivation is optional, but discipline is structural. I need to be so locked in that every day I know exactly what I'm doing, even if it feels redundant, if it feels lonely, if it feels boring.
We're not in this alone. Everyone is going to go through those circumstances or those trials and tribulations.
There's a big difference between making money and then having a business that makes money without you. Everybody, welcome back to another episode of The Real Deal with Allan and Andrew, where we just keep it real. We talk about fatherhood, business, relationships, all the things going on to just, be a better person, growth, development, and we're just happy you're here to tune in and have some good discussions with us.
Yeah.
Welcome back, people. So today we're just going to have a conversation with Allan and myself. We've had some cool guests on here.
Very great guests.
Good guests. Hope you guys have enjoyed them. They've been entertaining. They've dropped some gems. And we just want to have a recap and just, make sure that nothing just flies by without, soaking in. There's so many good gems that they've dropped on us.
For sure. All three of them were very transparent. It was just amazing to see all three of them from different industries. You had one that had a security company, one that had a yoga studio, and then one that was a developer.
Yeah.
And so
very different walks of life.
Very different walks of life.
And in that, so many similarities. So that's just something that's very interesting along this journey of business and starting something, no matter where you're coming from, where you're trying to go, it's kind of, the road is kind of similar, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of similarities and key things that they spoke about. So let's just kind of dive into some of those. I think one was, they all overcame, individual fears or, of the risk that it took to jump in. Jamie had no money. Sorry. Had no money. It was like the worst timing, and they decided to take a leap. Shishman with the security company
had no money as well.
He said he had a 450 credit score, no money, and had to start it with his wife's support and credit cards.
Mm-hmm.
So the fear, they did not let that pull them down. They all similarly just decided like, hey, I have this goal. Let me jump in. Let me take this risk.
I feel the key thing all of them had in common was they didn't overthink the process of starting. They just started.
Yeah.
Jamie did go to her husband and he kind of, said, hey, these are the obstacles we have to overcome. But they still just did. They took a leap of faith. All of them took a leap of faith. Shishman took a leap of faith even in the beginning where he took on a contract he really couldn't handle.
Mm-hmm.
But it got through and it pretty much started what it now is a multi-million-dollar security company business. So I think that's very powerful, and a key lesson for all of us is, man, just start. Now there are it wasn't just a uneducated start for many of them. They are all familiar with the field they were doing. Jamie was
already working in that area.
And Shishman already did security, customer service and all of that. So those are huge points.
I think that's a very good topic that you bring up, because I think a lot of people have this idea of something they want to do, especially nowadays where it's so many things on, Instagram or TikTok, where it's, opportunities for you to go create something or find money.
Mm-hmm.
But you're going to be great where you have experience and knowledge and skill. Like, if you're just jumping into something because you see the money, then you're not going to be able to serve, which means you're not going to give the best product, the best experience, and you're not going to create the best relationship if it's just transactional. It's got to mean something to you. And I think a lot of people, when they want to skip that step of actually doing the grind, learning the skill, like, you're missing out on the whole thing.
They're also, all three of them were bringing up a solution to a problem.
Yes.
And so walking in that purpose, and they had that skill, even on Aaron, where if you notice, all of them want to help others.
Yeah.
So they're not in it just for themselves. And I
Yes.
think that's another issue is when you get into business just for yourself. I mean, what's going to drive you when things aren't going well? What you see in all of their lives, they had to pivot. Either some had to pivot or, it wasn't always uphill.
Yeah.
And that I can speak from sitting by Shushman side by side. I've seen where things looking good and then boom, something goes bad. And then it's like, dang, what are we going to do? But because they had that purpose and and that skill, they didn't just give up. And so, yeah, I think that's huge.
Yeah, I think all true great entrepreneurs, they care. They care. You have to care. All great entrepreneurs are here to solve a problem, and the care gets you through those boom moments when the floor drops out from underneath you. You don't have enough for payroll. Payroll doesn't care, how you feel. The gym doesn't care how you feel. It's not a feeling game. It's a will game, and it's like you have to have the reason to get up every day when it's tough, and if you don't have that reason, which hopefully it's for a solution, and then I think it elevates from there once you get people behind you, right? Like you get a staff and it's like, okay, we got to go crush it to make sure Mary and Susan and Tim can get a paycheck this week.
Yeah.
Then it becomes about your audience, right? Now we have a customer base that, look, we can't let them down. We have to deliver on that. We got clients, we got vendors, and it becomes this whole ecosystem that the why should be the driving force, not just the dollars. And when the dollars get in the mix, it's just, it can like ruin something so pure.
Yeah. If I could ask you, what was your biggest take from all three of them? Was it the same thing from all of them, or is there something different?
I think my biggest take is I love sitting here talking to people that take this entrepreneurial journey, because no one has the same path. No one has the same journey. No one has the same funding. No one has the same experience.
For sure.
But everyone's journey is different, but what you go through is all very similar. So what I love to see is how people adapt, because a great entrepreneur, a great person in business, anyone great at what they do, they learn how to adapt. And the adaptability is what is going to determine our success, because no path is just going to be straight up. So I love hearing how each one of them at different moments of difficulty, or how they figured out a way to get through it. So hearing those different ways, I think, is the most important thing that we can kind of give to people, because it's not going to be just this smooth paved road. So just hearing other people's skills and things that they've learned over time, if we can push that to somebody, and because we're only as good as our last failure experience or win, because then we can sit back and say, okay, I was able to do this to get this helped with this got there. So now we go, when we execute, clear game plan, new hurdles come, we learn how to maneuver those, and then we just keep getting more powerful, more stronger, more efficient, more skilled.
Yeah.
So long way to answer that question. I loved hearing each one of their kind of maneuvering methods through the things that they went through.
My biggest takeaway for not just for us, but other people listening is we're not in this alone.
Yeah.
Like everyone is going to go through those circumstances or those trials and tribulations throughout, even if you're not a business owner.
Yeah. In life,
even if you work a 9 to 5 and you're trying to work your way up the ladder, like there is always going to have obstacles that you have to overcome. And so hearing each person overcome their obstacles, and they're probably still having obstacles today,
absolutely,
but they're still in the fight and they haven't given up. And so I think that is the my biggest takeaway is no one's alone. We're all going through the same things, despite of what we see on social media. And I think that's one of the reasons we started this. So that's why we call it the real deal. So you don't have to. So you can actually see how this world really is.
Mm-hmm.
It's there's some the fruits is all you guys see on social media,
Mm-hmm.
fruits of labor, but y'all don't get to see the labor, but now
Yep.
you get to hear about it. And so
I think the key thing too is, learning, how to be your best self. Like, how do
yeah,
I become my most efficient, my most evolved self? Motivation is optional, but discipline is structural. Like,
yeah,
if we are going to build something big, like, I need to be so locked in that every day I know exactly what I'm doing, even if it feels redundant, if it feels lonely, if it feels boring, like, I'm locked in on this mission. And I think, that is something that these guys did as well, through as you said, living in the real life, not off the highlight reel. Like, there was times where they were struggling,
yeah,
and I love the black swan story because, people have no idea when they drive by a black swan, like what it took to get to that point.
right, right,
They just see, oh man, I'm gonna go get my sweat on, my vinyasa, you know. They have no idea of the building blocks that it took and the discipline that it took and the tears and the sweat and the blood. So I think one beautiful thing about entrepreneurship is the story behind the story that
yeah,
no one sees, but each one of them could be its own Netflix documentary.
for sure, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's huge. When we sit here and we have a guest, I catch myself just like
Listening.
listening,
Yeah.
like as if I haven't been through the same thing. And once you start listening, you're like, dang, I remember that.
Yeah.
Or dang, I
Yeah.
went through that. Or
Yeah.
dang, I could be going through it right now.
Yes.
So it's just it was just beautiful for me. So we're gonna continue to have those guests. One thing I also noticed was I don't believe money was any one of their motivation.
Mhm.
Black Swan Yoga, she said, you can sign up for free.
Yes. Yeah.
So you really have to have faith. Money couldn't have been the motivation. Obviously now they make money,
Yeah.
but it couldn't have been the motivation.
Yeah.
Uh
I
so
think that's very important in business. I mean, marketing gets you attention and character gets you longevity. And each one of them built a business through their character. They
mhm.
care. And that is so special because it shows in each of their business. Like you said, it's free. I'm doing this
Yes.
as a service to the community because I love it. I believe in it. So, man, yeah, that's fire.
Yeah, so
I mean, that correlates, I think, in what we do. I mean, we were talking to someone yesterday at the Luxury Real Estate Summit.
yeah,
Shout out Tomas. Y'all did a great job.
great job.
Uh, yeah, Luxury Home Magazine, San Antonio. But we were talking to a gentleman and we're talking about, when you're younger, when you're building, we're hungry, Josh Altman made a statement and he's like, I will out hustle anybody. And it's funny because I used to live in that same mantra when I was younger. If I used to go to an appointment or a meeting, that was my thing. Is like, look, I'm gonna outwork anybody. And goddamn, I would.
Yeah.
Like, I'll stay up all night. I'll do whatever it takes. Like, no one is outworking me. I may not have all the knowledge. I may not have all the
Wasn't the
skill
most
set yet.
educated. Yeah.
Might not be the most talented. Don't have a PhD, but no one's outworking me. But at this point, that ain't happening. I'm not. I have the skill set. You have the skill set where, we're not 21 years old to where it's
I'm sitting and make 500 phone
y-
calls a day.
yeah, we're
I'll
gonna
still make phone calls,
yeah.
but I'm not gonna sit here and make 500
Yeah,
phone
I
calls a
mean,
day.
the work is a lot more efficient now. We have a little more, we use a little more brain power, a little bit more experience. I think one thing that's very important for everyone to understand is success isn't, a coincidence. It's scheduled. It's not sexy. It's not pretty. It's discipline. It's long days. It's long nights. But the result of it is way better than, this, I feel like doing this life that, when we're younger, we're very emotionally
Yeah.
driven,
Yeah.
right? I think one key characteristic that we saw from the guests that we've had is it wasn't so much a feeling thing. It was like, you know, this is what I want to do. I'm going to set out on this journey, and no matter what setbacks, they kept going. And so that speaks to their character.
Yeah. And overcoming those emotions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Which you definitely have to do. I mean, shoot, things popped up this week within me where I'm like, things pop up that you don't expect to happen. And if you have emotions, or if you're overly emotional during that process, you're going to fail.
Yeah. Parenting, right? The most challenging thing in the world, but you can't wake up and just be like, all right, Timmy, go fix your own food and take yourself to school. I'll see you at 8:00. Like, we don't have a choice. It's like we have to, you know, handle whatever is thrown at us. You know, your kid breaks his arm, you got a board meeting, or you got, you know, your boss coming into town or whatever. It's like you just got to pivot and move. And I think that's just one thing that we need to get more comfortable with.
For
is just being uncomfortable. You know, life guarantees us nothing. You know, the only thing it guarantees us is death and taxes, right? So the sooner that we can get comfortable with being uncomfortable, learning how to maneuver and pivot when those things come up, life just becomes so much easier.
And I don't think, as an entrepreneur, I lived the 9-to-5 life, and then I've lived this entrepreneur life. And I don't think you can ever truly be comfortable as an entrepreneur. I mean, you can be somewhat satisfied, but comfort, it's never going to be just comfortable every day, because there's so many things that you have to deal with on a daily basis.
The moment you become comfortable is either the time when your competitors take you over, or when you've done so well,
you retired,
you're selling the company, you're moving to Belize, and you're chilling, you know. But you're right. I mean, there's no room for that. But we have to be comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Man, a question for you is and I don't know if we asked any of them, is what do you do to revive yourself? Like, you know, if we go through this hustle and bustle every day, 24 hours a day, and then you have those moments where you're just not feeling it.
Yeah.
Or you're like, man, I need a break.
Yeah.
Or I need to revive myself. What is your, what do you do?
That's a great question. I think everyone has their own take of what they do. And even for me, I mean, it may be different some days. My schedule is pretty wild. So some days I have to catch myself because I don't live a traditional Monday through Friday, whatever. I mean, I'm Monday through Sunday, you know, wake up till go to bed. So I have to sometimes just make myself, you know, yo, let's go to Capitol Grill. Let's just go cut out for an hour, or maybe I'm still learning how to do this, right? You know, I do love to play golf. I love spending time with my son, but even then I have to make myself like, hey, lock in, enjoy yourself right now. So that's something I'm still trying to learn and grow through. I love traveling. So I have lots of things that I love to do, but sometimes when I have, you know, I call it being on a mission. When I'm on a mission to do something, it's like that mission just kind of can start to consume me. So that's something that I try to control as much as possible.
But they say when you're an entrepreneur, you get to control your time, right? So it's that's the control your time. In our essence, is if our kids have a game or a practice or something at school, we can make it.
Sure,
we control the schedule.
Yeah,
but doesn't mean we have so much free time.
I think with that being said, when you own your business, you do own your time. But the concern and the lesson is learning how to control your own mind, because sometimes the work doesn't stop. So you need to learn how to make the work fit into your life. And I think that's the biggest challenge of any, you know, entrepreneur that is moving at a certain pace. You know, it doesn't stop. You know, if you got staff working, you know, there's constantly things going on. So
you just truly have to be intentional with. So for instance, for me, when you first start, you're on this hustle. No one's going to outwork me. So then you get to a point where you have to be intentional to take time
Yes.
for yourself.
Yeah.
So for me, I've had stress induce inflammation to the body because I've overworked myself, I've over-involved myself in everybody
Yeah.
else's life. And so I now have to actually, throughout the week, or find a day, even if it's not a full day, but just some period of time where I can just sit down and not think or do nothing.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
because we're not always going to be able to take vacations.
Yeah, I mean, the body
but
is
we
not
got-
a machine. I
Yeah.
mean, it needs rest. It needs certain things. I mean, a car needs gas to move. I mean, our body needs sleep, rest, recovery. And if we don't give it those things, then, you know, you unfortunately you lower the span of your life. And it's that serious to where we do have to be intentional about it. So yeah, I think that, you know, we teach all the principles of how to go make money, how to go do all this, but it's equally as important, if not more important, to teach and speak on, you know, the components of how to be a better person, how to be a holistic entrepreneur. Because without being centered and balanced internally, like we're never going to be the greatest in the office that we can be.
One thing I will say I learned from you starting this business is the power of delegating.
Yeah.
And I'll speak even on Shishman's behalf, because he kind of talked about it. He was everything for that business. And I see now his business touched 1 million without him delegating. But now that he's delegating and putting the right people in place so he doesn't have to do everything. And, you know, the sacrifice there is you're going to have to be willing to pay.
Sure.
So obviously, if you're delegating, you're going to lose some money out of your pocket. But you've taught me to delegate. And by delegating in entrepreneurship, it allows you now to have a little more time for yourself, for your family, or for whatever it does.
It's huge. There's a big difference between making money and then having a business that makes money without you.
Yeah.
I think it's still an incredible accomplishment to anyone that can build something that makes a significant amount of money. But at the end of the day, for me personally, I'd rather take home $500,000 than have to work my ass off for $1 million where I have no time, no peace, and no, you know, joy. So I think it's very important that, you know, if you're going to build something, like have a lot of people say an exit plan or whatever. I think it's very important to have, you know, what does this ideal situation look like in 10 years, in 5 years? Do I want to, what does the day-to-day look like? How heavily do I want to be involved? Me personally, I want to be involved 10 to 15 hours in all my companies a week. I don't want to have to sit here every day, field calls, show up to meetings. I don't want to do that. I want to build successful organizations where people have positions to thrive within, and in turn, we put out great product, great service for the community.
Yeah.
So I know my why, and when I join or become a part of anything, and I'll never set the stage to anybody that, hey, I'm going to come in and work 40, 50 hours a week. I'm not.
Yeah. So it goes back to the success in a business is almost the same thing as success in life, where it's laying out a path that other ones that can follow.
Yeah.
So within a business, you have to have those systems in place to where anyone can just drop in and do what you were doing.
I think it's very important too that you start creating those systems from day one, but I think a lot of people get ahead of themselves too.
Yeah.
Like I see all the time, like companies, they're 6 months old and the founder or whoever, the owner's got an assistant and he's got a marketing manager, and it's like,
yeah, you got to go through the struggle.
Absolutely. Like first year, you hold all those positions. Like you build out the systems, you build out the infrastructure. So when the company is ready, then you can put those people in place. But we can't put the cart before the horse.
Yeah.
Like we got to build the right way.
Man, listen, Alfie.
Oh man, Alfie.
Alfie and Michelle. I'm not going to say Michelle's last name, but Alfie and Michelle, those two people have been helping a lot. But more power to Andrew for showing me the power of delegating, because
it's important.
before we started this business, I didn't have a transaction coordinator. You know, I'm always trying to be involved with title.
Yep.
I was at every inspection. I was everywhere. I was trying to do everything. I was trying to, I take phone calls from the agents, writing their contracts, writing my contracts, helping their offer, make my offer. And then you look up, you're like, bro, I am drained.
Yeah.
And you look up at the end of the year and you see your taxes or whatever, your 1099. Like, man, I made some good money, but it was like, this is not worth it.
Yeah. Man, I think at some point, I don't remember exactly what it was, but I remember I was in a meeting. I think it was some sort of a marketing meeting that I had at the call center, and everyone was talking, and then I forcefully just interjected myself, and I just looked at everyone around at the table, and it was just like I had been in that position before, as to where I had worked hard on something,
Mhm.
a higher up came in and just kind of interjected their opinion, and I was just like, "Oh my gosh," like I became that guy, you know? So, I learned at that time, and it was a long time ago, that if I don't have a direct impact on what's going on, if I'm not, if I haven't spent time on it, like, I don't need to be behind everything. Like,
Mhm.
if this is someone else's strong sandbox, if this is their strength, like, I'm not gonna waste my time, I'm not gonna waste your time. You are the expert, I trust you to do that. Let's go. And in turn, like, we've put a lot of good people around us, our all of our partners, but we let them go, and it allows us to be in other places, because how many places can we be in one time, and like taking on all this extra bandwidth in our mind, worrying about things that initially we can't control. Like, if we put the right people there, they're gonna help us keep moving
For
forward.
sure. If you do hire people or partner with somebody, be sure to trust the reason you hired them or trust the reason you partnered with them.
Absolutely, your partner should be a double. I mean, you should be
Yeah.
able to be in a different part of the world, and you let them go, and is getting done. Like, you
Yeah.
should have no concerns. Like, partnerships are very important to select the right person.
Or even where something I've seen we've been doing pretty well at is we might know the answer to something. We call each other and you might say what I'm thinking and it's
Mhm.
like confirmation.
Mhm.
Or you call me and you're like, man, I was thinking, I don't know why I'm
Mm.
tripping on this
Mhm.
situation.
Yeah.
You're right. Let's go.
Yeah.
Boom. So it's very important that when you hire these people or you partner with somebody, you trust it. Now
Yeah.
you do when you hire people, obviously some people can fake it till they make it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's a little different from partnering with somebody. But yeah, when you hire people, give them that opportunity to make those mistakes. And yeah. So
How do you feel about mistakes in the workplace? Like, how do you handle those?
I justify for everyone, as you know.
Mhm.
However, I justified more when I didn't own the company. When I was a group leader versus being a broker, it was two different things I'm
Mhm.
realizing. Uh, but I allow people to make mistakes. We are not AI, we are not computers. Even those make mistakes, but the only way someone can grow is from a mistake.
For sure.
So if they don't make no mistakes, how do they learn? Like, or if you know what I mean?
I
So
love that. I think that is so important, because, some companies, like, you make a mistake and people are afraid to make mistakes, but you can't grow without trying to shake the norm. Like, if you're not trying to break things,
man,
then you keep things moving the same way, and we don't have any growth from that. So I think people need the autonomy to feel like they can go try different things, get clever, think outside the box. I mean, that's how we innovate. But I also believe you make a mistake one time, no problem.
yeah.
Make that mistake again, we got problems.
I don't think we've implemented this, but it's like a 3-strike rule in corporate. I've never touched a 3-strike rule, so I
Mhm.
wouldn't know. But I know that you get a warning, you get a write up, and then the next one they could fire you for like
I think
HR
that's
or
the
something.
best way to handle things. But I do think leadership, and a lot of times forget the most important step, which is the follow up. So if someone has an issue, we need to address it. We need to make sure that they understand the mistake, and then 2, show them the corrected plan of action. But the most important thing is the follow up. So if something happens on a Tuesday, we don't just let that go. Like we had a conversation and it's gone. If something happens on a Tuesday, then we follow up on Thursday or Friday. Hey, I just want to bring you in. Let's talk about what happened. Think have corrected it perfectly since then. Just want to say, hey, we're going to move forward. Thank you for, the effort that you put in so far. And then we're going to follow up again, and we're going to make sure that, that they understand and they have the skill now to not make that mistake again. Or if it was a will thing, to make sure that they understand, like, in this organization, that's not acceptable.
So with mistakes being made, sometimes I do check myself as the leader, the manager, and say, did I teach this person or train this person correctly?
Yeah, I think that's a whole different ball game, though.
Yeah, so
yeah.
But then also with mistakes, reason why I said that was because we played sports, and for instance, my daughter plays basketball, right? Typically, the kid that is doing really good at basketball at an early age is the one that's not afraid to make a mistake, or someone's not hounding them every second.
They're just raw.
They're raw. Like, so for instance, you have parents, and us athletic parents tend to intervene when our kid is dribbling down the court. They make a mistake, and dads or moms, they're yelling at the kid. So now that kid comes in a shell. So now once they're in a shell, they are afraid to make. It sound like I said my wife
in a shell.
They're in a shell, and they're afraid to make that mistake, bro. I had a conversation with it's okay. I did have this conversation with Michelle about Malaya. We were watching film, and we'll be transparent. I'm watching film, and
you can hear
Malaya is dribbling up the court, or she's doing something, and she crosses someone up, and she passes, and Michelle's like on her, like
you can hear it in the
and then I'm looking at the film, and I'm like, babe, no wonder she's looking at you rather than thinking about
the play.
So that's why I feel you have to allow mistakes to happen to grow.
Hey, that was a great point, because coming back to our last guest, Black Swan Yoga, a lot of times in life, we don't want to take a risk because we are afraid of the failure and what that's going to look like for our loved ones, or are we going to, look like a failure to society, and having, this person had a supportive partner, having that supportive partner where she knew, like, if I fail, he's still going to love me. He's still going to be there for me. I think that's very important, because that correlates not just to business, but in life. When we put this extreme amount of pressure to where we're afraid to fail and we can't be, uncomfortable, then it kind of stifles our growth.
Man, yeah, for sure. Like, and I think that leads to the whole thing about entrepreneurship isn't about avoiding failure. It's just about adjusting to it.
Yeah.
So it's huge, man. We're going to go through those failures. We're going to go through the mistakes, but we have to continue to strive forward and overcome those and learn from them. Because like you said, if you are making the same mistake multiple times, that means you didn't learn from it.
Absolutely.
Now, if you made a mistake and you learn from it, then you make a different mistake, okay, now you got to learn from that.
It's part of the growth process.
But making the same, so I do get what you're saying. And I can envision you when someone might make the same mistake multiple times. Yeah. So yeah, I agree with you on that as well. I had to visualize it as far as
no doubt.
I have a question for you guys.
Let's go.
So I feel like one of the biggest challenges of entrepreneurship is lack of structure. Because in a corporate job or any other type of job, you have that structure provided to
no doubt.
Manager.
For sure.
Everyone has their tasks and they know when they clock in and clock out. So on a personal level, because you guys kind of talked about that, and putting the right systems in place in your businesses. But on a personal level, how do you choose what to prioritize day to day? Like, do you look at every day as like a blank slate, or do you have lists that you follow, or you carry things into the next day? Or
Man, for me, if I have a long list of to-dos for a day and there's only so much time in a day, I will have to prioritize. Uh, and it's not about money, but some of them are going to be money generated tasks. So if one of the tasks is some simple admin thing, I'm probably going to put that at the bottom and prioritize the ones at the top that are going to keep the business alive or moving. So not to say that because it's not going to generate income, it's not going to get done, but I am going to kind of prioritize it in that way. And I think I got that from, I think it was Grant Cardone. I think he had this whole thing about wasting time and doing activities that weren't generating income. So for instance, he would say it was better to cold call than drive an hour to someone's house to door knock, not even knowing if they were there, and then drive all the way back to your office. And within those 2 hours, you could have contacted, I think it was 500 people or 300 people within that time frame. So I think that was something I kind of took from him with trying to do everything on my own.
No doubt. Yeah, that's great stuff. Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's virtually impossible to achieve, a successful business without being structured. You have to be organized because it becomes, if you build it, it's going to become bigger than you.
Yeah.
And people can't follow you if they can't replicate what you're doing. And if you're not organized, like you're just going to bring people to chaos. So, I think everybody needs to find the structure that works for them. We have agents all the time come in and they're asking, what do you do every day? And what I do every day is not going to work for you. So we need to kind of look at what you have going on. IPAs, without income producing activities, those need to be the key of every day because, you have your new business you need to focus on. You got your current business that you need to focus on, and you got your past business that you need to continue to focus on. So every day you need to hit each one of those buckets, So scheduling is extremely important because it is kind of the GPS to, how you're going to navigate your growth and, keep moving forward. Yeah,
for sure.
So I think the thing is too is, we're all looking for the highlight reels, but success is not sexy, in the beginning, you're trying to figure it out. And then, as you're learning, it's really just discipline. The motivation goes away.
Mm-hmm.
You're doing very repetitive tasks, but those tasks are building the building blocks to you creating, the organization that you're trying to do.
I think that's why to have that structure we're all talking about, you have to have some vision or some vision and goals in place of where you're trying to go. Like, I think before you start the business, you need to know, what am I trying to accomplish with this business? That's why I said it can't just be about money. Yes, you can put a goal of, hey, we're going to make 200 million this year, but we need some goals in place. And
well, even if your goal is, hey, I want to make 200 million, how do you get to 200 million?
Without
then you're
structure.
going to put these, IPAs, right?
For sure.
To get to that 200 million. But of those goals, some of them are going to be tasks that, okay, we need to go sell, or we need to go do this, we need to go do that. So then that's when we talked about that heartbeat that comes in, so it's a whole ecosystem of understanding,
Sure.
the 200 million is great, but you can't get to 200 million without a great staff, care, love, and a good product.
Yeah.
Guys, check out these phone cases that we got, the real deal, baby. So if y'all want one of these, please hit us up. It's been great speaking with you guys. We're so happy that you spent a little time with us. Next week, we got an awesome guest for you guys coming to drop a little bit more information. We'll keep that under wraps until it's time.
And let us know if there's something you want us to address.
Yeah.
Questions.
We would love to hear your feedback, and
for sure,
we'll get it live on here for discussion. Until next time, guys, we appreciate you. Have a good week.